The word of Forbes on the magazine cover is familiar to most of us because it hasn't changed much in a few decades. There were many changes before that, though. The magazine made numerous typeface and design experiments. In this video, we will go over every basic fact about the history and evolution of the Forbes logo. Forbes magazine was started on September 15, 1917, by B.S.C. Forbes, who wrote a financial column for the Hearst papers, and Walter Dray, who was the general manager of the magazine of Wall Street. Dray provided the publishing expertise, while Forbes provided the money and the name. Forbes, devoted to doers and doings, was the magazine's original name. Dray was vice president of the B.C. Forbes publishing company, a position that C. Forbes held until his death in 1954. In his later years, Forbes was helped by his two eldest sons, Bruce Charles Forbes and Malcolm Forbes. After his father passed away, Bruce Forbes took over, and he was best at streamlining processes and creating marketing strategies. From 1954 to 1964, under his leadership, the magazine's circulation nearly doubled. After Bruce Forbes passed away, his brother Malcolm Forbes took over as president, chief executive, and editor-in-chief of Forbes. James Michaels edited Forbes from 1961 to 1999. In 1993, while under Michaels' editorship, Forbes was a finalist for the National Magazine Award. In 2006, an investment group called Elevation Partners, which includes the rock star Bono, purchased a minority interest in the business through a new company called Forbes Media LLC. In 2014, the company moved its headquarters to the Newport neighborhood in the center of Jersey City, New Jersey. In January 2010, Forbes sold its Fifth Avenue headquarters building in Manhattan to New York University. However, the financial details of the deal were not made public. Elevation Partners, a group of minority shareholders, convinced Forbes Media, which makes Forbes magazine, to put itself up for sale in November 2013. According to sale documents made by Deutsche Bank, Forbes asked for $400 million. The document said that the publisher made $15 million in 2012 before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. In July 2014, the Forbes family bought Elevation, and in August of the same year, Integrated Whale Media Investments from Hong Kong bought a 51% stake in the business. In 2021, Forbes initiated a merger. By merging with a special-purpose acquisition company called Magnum Opus Acquisition and beginning to trade as FRBS. On the New York Stock Exchange, Forbes announced their plans to go public on August 26, 2021. According to the report, cryptocurrency exchange Binance would buy a $200 million stake in Forbes as a result of the SPAC flotation. On the weekly Fox television program, Forbes on Fox, and on Forbes on Radio, Steve Forbes and the contributors to his magazine offer investment advice. There are also business divisions like the Forbes Conference Group, the Forbes Investment Advisory Group, and Forbes Custom Media. According to a 2009 Times article, Steve Forbes recently returned from opening up a Forbes magazine in India, bringing the number of foreign editions to 10. Also that year, Steve Forbes' daughter, Moira Forbes, started putting out a quarterly magazine called Forbes Woman, which had a website to go with it. The business used to put out American Legacy magazine as a joint venture, but on May 14, 2007, the magazine broke up with Forbes. Previously, the company published the magazine's American Heritage and Invention and Technology. As of May 17, 2007, these two magazines were put on hold by Forbes after they were unable to find a buyer. Both magazines were then bought by the American Heritage Publishing Company, which started publishing them again in the spring of 2008. On the other hand, Forbes Media LLC's subsidiary, Forbes Digital, which includes Forbes.com, owns a piece of Real Clear Politics. Each month, more than 27 million unique visitors visit these sites collectively. The 2009 Times report said that one of the top 5 financial sites by traffic generated an estimated $70 million to $80 million a year in revenue, but it never got the hoped-for public offering, while using the slogan, homepage for the world's business leaders. The Forbes.com contributor model pays contributors based on traffic to their individual pages. The site has received contributions from over 2,500 people, and some contributors have earned over $100,000, according to the company. People have said that the contributor system makes pay-to-play journalism and the repackaging of public information possible. In July 2018, Forbes removed a piece written by a contributor who advocated for the closure of libraries and the opening of bookstores by Amazon in their place. David Chubbuck launched the Forbes website in 1996. In 1998, the website told the New Republic about how journalist Stephen Glass had lied, which led to an article that made internet journalism more popular. In addition to running 5 more stories by Michael Fumento that disputed the basic media premise that Toyota cars were breaking down, it also showed that the California runaway Prius was a fake at the height of media coverage of the supposed Toyota's sudden, unintended acceleration in 2010. A big reason why the website is so popular is that it has many lists of billionaires and their assets, especially their expensive homes. Let's take a look at the Forbes logo's history. In 1917, the inscription Forbes magazine, which was written in 2 rows and in Old English, was placed on the debut numbers. There were bold dots with tiny curls that resembled commas at the ends of the wide letters in place of serifs. The letters F, G, E, Z, S, and R were particularly well pronounced. There were teeny hook-like protrusions on both letters A. Many serifs are used to style the letters B, M, and I. Between 1918 and 1922, the logo was used during this time with thin, black letters that had traditional serifs. Since there was enough room between the signs, they did not blend together. The center-placed R and B stood out as exceptions. The first letter's extended leg was tucked under the second. Magazine was deleted by the authors. Between 1922 and 1924, a new logo was approved by the magazine's editors for the cover. It was a black rectangle. The print edition's name could be seen between the 2 thin white stripes that ran along the bottom and top of the geometric shape. Furthermore, the letters were connected by lines on both sides, making the tiny protrusions from the curved serifs stand out against the background. In 1924, a new design was launched. The white outline of the logotype was kept in the 1925 redesign, but the typeface was changed to a more elegant, narrow one. The composition as a whole became more refined and stylish as the letters grew taller. Although the serifs at the ends of the lines became smoother, their ends became sharper. The character designs were updated as a result of the redesign. As a result, they received a thin, solid black and white strip with an outline. The serifs are corrected to be classically flat. In 1930, from 1936 to 1938, the Forbes logo was written in a unique modern cursive with bold and angular lines that were broken. Although it was a stylish and intriguing inscription, it didn't last for very long because it lacked confidence and stability. A half-figured inscription was present in the logo at the time. The title of the magazine featured wide-sided letters connected by brief, slender lines. The middle strokes of F and E had points that went out and in, making them look like diagonal triangles. In 1934, after many years of using block letters, lowercase letters were added. The word Forbes was written in shaky cursive. The writing was brief and coherent, it connected all the signs in one continuous line. In 1937, the first time thin sans serif uppercase characters were used was on the logo. As a result, the title is much more expressive, understandable, and simple to read. It was a horizontal rectangle on a light gray background that almost blended in with the background color, making it virtually invisible. In 1938, the magazine's title was now bold and large. The connections between the symbols were so close to fusion. Each of them was made up of a wide shadow on the right and a thin outline on the left. The magazine's title was made 3-dimensional, and the letters were given volume. In 1953, the classic serif typeface from the previous logo was still present in this one. The authors also made all the other characters smaller, even though they were all uppercase, except for the letter F, which they left huge. In 1966, the text on the insignia has been resized, making the letters a little bit bigger and easier to read. The signs have very small serifs. In 1973, The name of the logo remained the same, but the serifs were eliminated. In 1977, the magazine's cover featured a prominent title. The designers straightened the right leg at the letter R and squeezed the letter F, shortening the protruding lines. Once more, the characters were fairly closely spaced. The year 1978 saw a revolution in headline design. A completely different typeface, a modern, chic, and elegant, was then approved. All of the other letters were changed to lowercase, except for F, which stayed in capital letters. The logo we recognize today was introduced in 1999. The font used on the symbol is lovely, since the authors made the letters a little bit narrower than they were in the previous design. They also deleted the bottom serif from B, added the F curl, and substituted a short stroke for the R. Furthermore, the title has changed to a color, which is a revolution for a business journal. But why does the Forbes logo work? Why is it effective? Here's why. The Forbes logo is reliable. Perhaps some of us feel that the Forbes logo has seen too many changes. Although this is accurate, the adjustments had no impact on the organization's fundamental beliefs. The Forbes logo has maintained its visual components, a wordmark and colors, for over 10 decades. Secondly, the Forbes logo can be read. Being illegible for a company that sells important words to the general public would be a major mistake. The Forbes logotype is big and easy to read on all types of media, such as magazines, websites, social media sites, etc. Once it appears, you can't miss it. Thirdly, the Forbes logo is scruffy. Cleaning and attention to detail are important in the writing and publishing industries. This attribute is reflected in Forbes' well-known logo. The logo design has fewer graphic elements, which helps it get a low-key reputation. The Forbes logo stands out from the rest because it only uses one font and two colors. Finally, the logo is memorable. Once you've seen the Forbes logo, it's easier to remember it whenever you want. This is a common marketing platform because it has simple design features. This means the logo can keep its size, shape, colors, and other important qualities while still looking great on advertising platforms. Before we conclude, let's analyze the colors on the Forbes logo. Black is a prominent color in the logo. By selecting black as one of its brand's colors, Forbes appears to be saying, "I want readers to regard me as strong and elegant." Black is a mysterious color that stands for power, money, and refinement. Black also communicates negative feelings like dread, danger, or grief, but that's not the case with the Forbes logo's black color. The Forbes logo stands out from the crowd because of the black and white color combination. Another color is white. Forbes chose white as one of its logo colors because it values order, clarity, and tranquility. White is the most neutral color. It signifies light, winter, and the heavens. Some indigenous people use white as a color to signify purity, innocence, and humility. With its wordmark painted in white, the Forbes logo design appears simple. And then we have the color blue. By using blue in some of its logos, Forbes meets the needs of its readers to trust the brand. The calming hue of blue stands for tranquility, assurance, and harmony. Additionally, it can emit feelings like stability, honesty, and oneness. The color blue signifies the sky and bodies of water. In conclusion, you'd agree that once you've seen the Forbes logo, it's easier to recall it whenever you want it. This marketing tool is widely used because of its straightforward design. This means the logo can keep its size, shape, colors, and other important qualities and still look great on advertising platforms.